Welcome back to another episode of The Curious Consumer. I'm Nate.
I'm Jenna.
And we got a lot to talk about this week. There's some fun stories, some hydrating stories. I'm actually excited about it. I really liked the deep dive this week. This was really good, Jenna. This was really good.
Thank you.
Really interesting. But Jenna, are you consuming anything right now? Do you have any fun products on your desk right now?
Ooh. Okay, well, I did just have Smart Sweets came out with these Dream Puffs, and they are these cloud-shaped marshmallowy gummies. It's a perfect mix between a marshmallow and a gummy in strawberry foam flavor and peach foam flavor, and they are texturally so incredibly satisfying.
They're
Beautiful. And the bag is only 3 grams of sugar, as Smart Sweets so famously does. So that's what I just had as my midday snack. A little
I think
candy.
It's great.
What about you?
I am currently almost done with my large Dunkin' iced coffee with skim milk and brown sugar syrup. I shouldn't have done skim milk. And then I also had an Icelandic Provisions extra creamy skyr, the honey and apricot one, which for those who are listening to the podcast who don't follow us on Instagram, we just did a What's in Your Cart episode with Jesse Saltzman, who is the head of R&D at Icelandic Provisions, a Icelandic skyr yogurt company, and this was one of her formulations. She also has a strawberry and cream one that she did recently, and she also recommended a pita bread company called Angel Bakeries. Truly some of the best store-bought pita I've ever had.
It tastes like it's from a restaurant.
It's so good. Apparently, somebody in the comments said that Miznon, a Middle Eastern restaurant here in the city, uses their pita bread. I finished the bag today. I bought it a few days ago, and I just had the pita plain. I didn't do anything with it. I just had it plain.
And that's your right.
And it was great. And they were delicious. But let's start with our first story, which is coconut water.
Coconut water has somehow re-entered the zeitgeist as if it was never a huge thing in the first place, which is very interesting to me. Coconut water was very big in the 2010s. And then there was this really big lull, I would say, from 2012 until almost now. Suddenly, it is back. So we were really curious how this all went down. And we also were inspired to write about this because Vita Coco, which is the public brand that controls more than half of the US coconut water market currently, just acquired Copra, which is a super premium cold chain coconut water, as opposed to their Tetra Pak shelf stable one. This is a refrigerated, very premium version of coconut water that is sourced from Thailand. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
From Thailand. So it would also give them another reason to source from another location. So there's lots of reasons that they have acquired this company. But yeah, we wanted to go back and just understand the roots of coconut water in the first place. So gonna start I'll take it back, but then we'll fast forward. Gonna start in 2004 because that's when Vita Coco was founded, which is crazy to me that it's been around for so long. And the story of Vita Coco being founded is also very funny to me. The 2 co-founders, they were at a bar in New York and they just met 2 Brazilian women and they asked them what they missed the most about home. And the women said coconut water. And then they founded a coconut water brand.
It's probably one of the best founding stories I've ever heard. That's amazing. They started a massive coconut water brand that controls about half the coconut water market in the US to please 2 women. Amazing.
Incredible. I'm like, were these the most convincing women in the world, or were they the most desperate founders? Were they so eager to find a business idea that they felt like any conversation was a genie in the bottle coming to them and giving them an answer?
I wonder, now that the World Cup just wrapped in New York, if this happened to more people, with more Brazilian women and just people from all over the world coming to New York, going to the bars, watching the game. Maybe there's another coconut water brand or something. Maybe a Kasasha which is a Brazilian rum, which goes really well with coconut water to make a caipirinha, one of my favorite cocktails. But that's an aside. This is an amazing founding story.
So they founded in 2004, and then it actually ended up breeding one of the craziest rivalries of all time because Zico Coconut Water also was founded in 2004. Their founding story, I'm not going to get perfectly correct, but the founder there actually made a trip to South America, did Peace Corps in South America, and came back and decided to bring it. So a little bit different, a little more firsthand experience. And Zico ended up having a wildly different brand trajectory that we won't get into right now, but there actually is a really good How I Built This podcast on Zico and a little bit on this rivalry that ended up being the Coke and Pepsi of coconut water. But we're going to focus here on Vita Coco because they are the stars right now. Vita Coco got investors in 2010. Their key investor was Madonna, who historically was not really investing in brands. So that was a really big deal. And then they got a slew of other celebrities to invest in them. They had a distribution deal with Keurig Dr. Pepper. They're doing really well. There's this crazy feedback loop where everyone's like, oh my God, there's money going into this. So therefore, this is doing well, so therefore we should pour more money into it. And then it all comes crashing down in 2012 when Vita Coco was sued for false advertising that it exaggerated its health claims, saying that it was more hydrating than it actually was. It settled for $10 million. That's a lot. That'll hurt your brand for sure. Yep. And this is kind of when things started to go dark. And at the same time, interestingly enough, all of coconut water was facing the same issue. Multiple other coconut water brands were sued for similar reasons to the point that the FDA actually had to issue warnings in response to the number of complaints and lawsuits over these misleading health claims industry-wide. So it was everyone saying that coconut water had these like superpowers, basically. It impacted the entire category. The different brands did different things to stay afloat after all of that happened. What was interesting, Zico was bought by Coca-Cola, and that was its way out, which ended up being harmful. They were discontinued. The founder ended up buying the brand back, and it now exists again, but it was obviously like a pretty rough trajectory. Vita Coco stayed afloat differently, if you want to touch on that.
Yeah, so Vita Coco did a few things. So they started doing private label in 2016, and they were private labeling for like Costco, and this became around 24% of the business for coconut water. And then a few years later, they started expanding beyond coconut water. They acquired a plant-based energy drink called Runa. And then they also got into the canned water business with Ever and Ever, but neither of those brands really stuck around too much. But all the while, they were, still kind of growing, especially from the private label brand. They were still around, very much still around. And then in 2021, they IPO'd. They IPO'd. They became a public company, valuing the company at around $1.1 billion. And at that point, Vita Coco, they controlled most of the coconut water share by that point. They also launched Powerlift, which is like a protein-infused post-workout water, which is actually really good. We tried it at Expo West a few years ago. It was actually one of my favorite sips from the show. Very surprised by that. But now it's a very different market that Vita Coco is playing in. Their type of product works so much better in 2026 than it ever has before. A lot of that work around natural hydration and hydration in general and all this stuff, it's already been done. All this brand education has been done. And there's been a lot of trends around also just coconut water that's been really helpful. There was the loaded water trend on TikTok where people were customizing their waters with coconut water, caffeine mixes, electrolyte powders. It went super viral, and that helped propel Vita Coco. Vita Coco has been doubling down and committing on sports. Earlier this year, back in January, they announced that they're returning to fitness and trying to take some share away from these other performance drinks that maybe have coconut water in them, but are not positioned as natural as coconut water. The other thing, too, is a lot of consumers want simple, all-natural products that they know work. Coconut water has basically no education needed. Everybody knows it's the oldest and most iconic hydration beverage that just comes from a coconut. It falls out of the tree, you crack the coconut, there you go. All good. Maybe there's some processing involved. I don't know. I am not a coconut farmer or producer. But like a lot of these hydration beverages that are coming on the market, there is some education needed. There's different functional ingredients, there's different benefits. You have to prove that it works. Coconut water, you don't really have to prove that it works.
I mean, it's interesting because you did at a point. The reason that the coconut water wave stalled in the mid 2010s was because of lawsuits around the claims about coconut water. And what's interesting is that I think almost because those companies were sued and then had to come back and say part of the settlement is a commitment to regular nutritional testing, there's almost like more trust in the companies now, and consumers know that they're not overclaiming the way that they used to. So it's interesting how actually overinflation of these claims ended up making them a very trusted category in a roundabout way.
And also, like, I think Vita Coco's success alongside that education component, alongside Maha and just general wellness trends, has also led to just a wild growth of other brands trying to come onto the market and also regrow themselves, like Zico, for example. Zico brought on Chris Gallant recently, earlier this year, who is the founder of Bronx Brewery, then CEO of Chamberlain Coffee, and now he's CEO of Zico. And they're really trying to grow this business a lot. But then there's just a smattering of all of these newer brands like Tom Brady's Good Nut, which honestly, I just like saying that. I don't know if it's really a brand per se. It's exclusively available on GoPuff. It is one of the best tasting coconut waters I've had, to be honest. I bought it on GoPuff and I was like, damn, this is pretty good. There's Coaqua. They're leaning into more flavors. They have a passion fruit one. They have plain ones, of course. There's Strange Water, which they have a sparkling and a still one in mini cans. It's delicious as well. And, you know, we said in the deep dive that a lot of these newer competitors, rather than leaning to health claims, they're competing on other stuff. Cans, flavor, format, you know, rather than trying to lean into what like Zico and Vita Coco are doing. But also Vita Coco is doing a lot with their product set. They launched these like cream flavor Tetra Packs. They have a pink drink one, an orange and cream one, which is really good. So they're sort of innovating as well within their core set that seems to be pushing them forward a lot. And also just like as a brand, they're really leaning into social channels. There was a song called Coconut Water by a rapper, her name is Trim, that went viral on TikTok, mostly on TikTok. And I think this also helped a lot because they brought her into the office. They did a bunch of content with her here in New York. They put her up on a billboard in Times Square. Like they jumped on that really fast. And like the part of them winning, I think, is also just them being very social forward and being very tapped into what consumers are talking about online and what they want out of their brands. They're not just sitting around and being like, hey, we've been around since 2004. We're the big guys. Like, we don't need to do anything. No, you still very much need to do something. I think this recent play from them using this Coconut Water song and this rapper and incorporating her into their social channels is just so smart and feels so natural too. They seem like they're also just having fun with it, which feels like a little bit different than from what I've seen from Zico, which feels a lot more serious, which could work great, but coconut water is also fun.
The other thing I think that coconut water has been in the sun for a little bit recently is just cafe culture has done a lot for coconut water.
Yeah, it shows up a lot.
It's showing up a lot. We're seeing a lot of, as just like flavor innovation enters cafe culture more broadly, and tropical flavors in particular are being paired with coffee. We see a lot of banana coffee. We're also seeing coconut water Americanos and coconut water shaken espresso. And coconut water pairs well with matcha. So as matcha has trended upward, coconut water has also trended upward. I'm seeing so many trendy cafes with matcha coconut water drinks. And they are delicious. They are so good, especially because coconut water is a little naturally sweet and matcha is naturally bitter, and they balance each other really well. That also, I think, is playing a role. But yeah, I think what's been really interesting is it's not just that the brands are entering new retailers, because actually I think they're pretty saturated in terms of distribution. They're entering new households. Like new consumers are getting interested in coconut water, which again, we thought that the trend had already come and gone, and it is back. And if you are a single ingredient product in 2026, I think you're just going to do well, because that is what consumers are looking for. They are looking for a single ingredient, the most transparent possible sourcing, and coconut water brands are giving that to them in a world that is really trying to overcomplicate hydration in particular. So
yeah,
I think that's where we're at. Yeah, and that's on coconut water. I know we have a lot to say about peanut butter and jelly, and also peanut butter and
Yes.
also jelly.
Yes. Oh my God. For some reason, this is like, this has become my favorite topic. My TikTok feed, I think the past like 6 videos I've made has just been about frozen crustless PB&J sandwiches, which you would think there wouldn't be too many brands. No, there's a lot. So Uncrustables has done a lot for the industry. That brand themselves, a $1 billion brand for Smuckers, which owns them. And just 2 weeks ago, we were talking about how Welch's entered the ready-to-eat crustless frozen PB&J space. And this past week, we got 2 more brands participating in this war. And we're going to call it a war because why not? It's fun. You know? So Lunchly, which is the brand owned by Mr. Beast and Logan Paul, they just introduced Little Sammy's, which are crustless peanut butter and jelly sandwiches with around 13 grams of protein per pack. They're rolling out to retailers right now. But the most exciting thing about this brand to me is their cookies and cream flavor. I have not seen that kind of, put in air quotes, innovation in the crustless PB&J space yet. Everything has just been a PB&J. Granted, okay, this is not PB&J, this is cookies and cream. But nobody's made a fluffer nutter. Uncrustables hasn't brought back their grilled cheese one yet. Like, nobody's tried to sort of take that format and do something that's not just PB&J. There's Gallon Tiger, which does more artisanal flavors of jelly, but it's still a PB&J. Doing a cookies and cream, doing a dessert one is so smart. And the product photography looks really good. I don't know if it's going to be good or filled well, whatever. We will find it and try it. But they are trying to do something a little bit different, which I think is really smart and really fun.
There's obviously also the protein call out, which we're seeing across the board pretty much. Welch's had a protein call out. Jams has a protein call out. They have a protein call out. I mean, it's interesting, particularly, I kind of thought we would never hear from the brand Lunchly again because so they launched as a Lunchables competitor and they got into some controversies. There was mold on their Lunchables that they were selling in stores. There's Prime in it, and Prime itself is a controversial brand. So I didn't expect
Logan Paul and Mr. Beast are controversial
Logan Paul and
brands.
Mr. Beast in general. Yes, I can't believe that they teamed up on anything.
It's genius, honestly.
It is. I will say, if they're gonna do anything, they should be doing this, and they should be doing something like this cookies and cream innovation, because when you're in that like gamer adjacent YouTube adjacent, it's a very like, it's the culture around those individuals is the I tried it culture.
Right.
Like that is Mr. Beast's whole brand, is doing crazy stunts and seeing what happens. And the product should reflect that. So just doing a basic peanut butter and jelly, I was like, okay. But when I saw that they did the cookies and cream innovation, which to me sits kind of between like peanut butter and jellies, Uncrustables, and an ice cream sandwich, I'm
Correct.
like, okay. I could see a kid being like, this is a really cool thing that the YouTuber I like put out and I have to try it because it's cool and new. So that's interesting.
We got to try them all. The private label. It's like Pokemon, but with frozen,
gotta catch them all.
Frozen crustless PB&J sandwiches.
Uncrustables. Lunchly. Jams. Welch's. What am I forgetting? The gluten-free one.
Rudy's. Sun Butters.
No, it's actually insane.
And then there's all the private label ones. And then we didn't even get to the second sort of, this is not a sandwich. This is a little bit different, but Sola Bites, which makes high protein bagels and breads. I actually bought some of their bagels recently. They launched Sola Bites, which I really want to try. So they're basically peanut butter and jam jelly filled bagel bites. High protein. And they actually, what's interesting about this, which I have not seen on a lot of products, they call out complete protein. They are not,
as they should.
They are not scared to say it, or not say it, I guess. But it's interesting because like a lot of these brands just rarely will say complete protein.
Yeah.
Which obviously.
I love this. Yeah. I love this coming from a brand like Sola, because Sola is kind of like keto adjacent. Like it's more diet culture-y. And you don't see as much like fun innovation. Other than Hero actually does have very fun innovation, I will say. Hero Bread does some really fun stuff.
Croissants?
But you don't see
Crazy.
Their croissants are ridiculous.
Yeah.
You don't see a lot of like fun nostalgic stuff necessarily coming out of these more like diet culture-y brands. So I'm excited to see this one, as like if you're on a keto diet and you want a peanut butter and jelly bite, like there's something for you. Love it. I think something that's interesting about this, that I was thinking about. Uncrustables, we know, owns the category. They own it. Like there's
and they know it too.
And
they sue everybody.
Exactly. They know it to the point that they sue everybody. They sued Chubby Snacks, which actually was so ahead of the game. So you never want to be the first mover, because Chubby Snacks came out with a better for you, or crust-free, crustless peanut butter and jelly sandwich like 5 years ago? Maybe?
Something like that. Yeah, it was like 2020.
Were sued by Smuckers, aka Uncrustables, and then discontinued. They do not exist anymore. And now there are all of these, and it's almost like they actually can't litigate anymore because their lawyers would be up at all hours. There are too many brands. Yeah. They also sued Trader Joe's, and that lawsuit is still happening. So the threat is that like Trader Joe's needs to take their crustless peanut butter and jelly off the shelves. Like, they're really trying to own this. I think that they need to just decide that they are the nostalgia play, and there will be all these cool buzzy brands that come out, or try to compete by coming out with like cooler flavor. Do anything.
Make a healthier one. People. Like it's
kind of silly.
Wild.
But I was thinking a lot about Chubby Snacks, because I remember being so excited about Chubby Snacks when it first came out and being like, oh my God, like there's finally an Uncrustables competitor. It's better for you. This is also exciting. And then they couldn't exist anymore because the market wasn't ready and Uncrustables was mad at them. And now here we are talking about a different crustless peanut butter and jelly product launching quite literally every week. So
yeah,
don't be the first mover.
No, do not be the first mover. But I think a natural transition from this story to our next one is around peanut butter. Drizzy, which is an Australian-based squeezable peanut butter company. Think Graza, but peanut butter.
Almost exactly like Graza.
I wonder why.
Yes.
They just officially launched in the US. So they were teasing it a little bit with a David Protein collab. David Protein, their frozen ice cream pop-up shop here in New York. They did a collab with Drizzy, and just the other day, they officially announced that they're coming to the US. And it's honestly a great way to deliver peanut butter. It looks really good. I'm really excited to try it.
I think it looks great. And it's only 2 ingredients, which I know you're like, I mean, if you're like me, you're thinking, why couldn't it just be peanuts? But in order to make it like a drizzly format, they needed to also add peanut oil. So it's just peanuts and peanut oil. It's in the squeezy bottle. I don't know why it took the peanut butter category so long to come out. Obviously, people use peanut butter as a drizzle for everything. I think this should absolutely be in food service also. Ice cream shops, yes. Froyo, 1,000%.
Oh, yeah.
It's perfect.
I just remember, so I know Smucker's has their like goober jar, which is both jam and peanut butter, but didn't Kraft Heinz and or Smucker's have a squeezy bottle that was jam and peanut butter in one? Or am I completely mistaken?
No, it was like a squeeze, not a drizzle. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like those are different things. Like it's a squeeze and it comes out and it's still viscous as opposed to a drizzle.
A drizzle is nice. A drizzle is easy.
I definitely want it in my house. I know that for sure. So I am excited about it.
Yeah.
It's also backed by some pretty cool folks. It sounds like they're this tiny brand, but they're coming in with some serious backing.
Yeah, Alexis Ohanian, he invested personally. Alexis Ohanian, for those who somehow don't know who he is, he started Reddit. He is the founder of Reddit. He also has a fund, 776, which is not involved in this raise, but he is personally.
Yes. He also is the husband of Serena.
Correct. And
I like to acknowledge when someone is the husband of.
And she's great. But he's also, one thing he does that I think, like, which is probably why this piqued his interest, he is known for making pancake art for his kid and posting it online and having a lot of fun with it. So this kind of actually really aligns with just, like, some of the content he puts out, too.
That's a great point. And then on to the jam. The jam side of things. So the brand Smash Foods, not to be confused with Smash Kitchen. There's a lot of smashing going on. Smash Foods.
My mom listens
Don't worry about
to this.
So Smash Foods which makes a better for you jam, just like normal strawberry grape jam, but made instead of with a bunch of sugar, with just the fruit itself and chia seeds and dates. They just raised an $18 million Series B led by Elle Catterton, which is deploying so much capital these days. It's actually insane. Smash Foods not only makes these jams, but also in the past 2 years, they launched their Bites line, which includes their jammy bites, which are basically like a date bite or like a Powerball. I feel like people have different words for these kinds of like little energy ball, whatever you want to call it. But they, to me, are just effectively a ball of peanut butter that is like a gusher with jam inside. They are so good.
They're great. And their jam is great too.
Their jam is fantastic. It actually, fun fact, can't even technically be called jam.
Oh God, what is it?
It's called a fruit spread because, no, this is a great thing.
Yeah.
Jam needs to have a certain amount of sugar to be called jam.
Oh.
And it's too low sugar. And so therefore it's a fruit spread and not a jam. Really interesting. I mean, they still call themselves like a chia jam, but it like categorically they can't. But yeah, I think this is a really exciting raise. It's obviously $18 million. That's nothing to scoff at. And it's a signal really that better for you pantry staples are still attracting capital. And this is, I think like everyone was a little bit surprised to see a jam company do so well, but I think we're all forgetting like jam is not a product that most people are buying once a year. It like other pantry staples olive oil, whatever it is. Parents especially, I imagine, are going through a jar of jam like probably more than once a month. I heard from an undisclosed source that their velocities are insane. Like
I'm
you
sure
would not believe, and I'm not all that surprised.
No, and look, there's not a lot of innovation in that space. There's some protein jams like Bam Jam out there. And I think the other thing that's really interesting about this raise, alongside like the fact that it's kind of so much for jam, which like does feel inherently like, oh, interesting. But I think it's really cool to see a company, a new CPG company sort of building out this like suite of products, trying to maybe be the next Smuckers in a way. You don't see it that much. Usually a lot of these brands are like one type of product company. Already Smash has toaster pastries, they have the bites, they have the jams, they have the single serve, and I'm sure they're going to be building out a whole suite of products at some point. Probably a peanut butter, probably other spreads. It's cool to see. It's really fun to see these brands sort of take on these legacy players that have been very sleepy in some of the categories that they operate in and make it a lot more exciting. And I'm sure that like parents also love that Smash Foods it's got the chia, it's got the low sugar, it's all that good sweet with dates, which is one of my favorite sweeteners for any product. Dates is like one of the best. This is a really good raise. I remember meeting them like right around when they launched too. This is really cool to see them grow this much.
They launched in 2019. Yeah.
I remember meeting them around like 2020, 2021 at like an industry event here in New York. And I remember talking to them about like what they wanted to build. And it's so cool to see them.
They did it.
The last story we want to cover today is a fun one, a boozy one, if you'd say. Gen Z is drinking, people. So for many years, the industry was saying that Gen Z was not drinking. And IWSR, they just released a survey saying that Gen Z is drinking. And it's up from 3 years ago. And it's also basically matching just the total adult rate of around 76%. And it's actually, Gen Z is drinking more than boomers. A little bit more, but they're drinking more than boomers. And I don't know, when I was literally having a beer while I was writing this story. and I was at a beer garden called Craft and Carry in the Upper East Side. I was having a brewski. I think I had like two. And I think there's a few things here. One, around Gen Z drinking habits. One, Gen Z was young for a while, and also they were probably just underreporting what they were drinking. I don't think I could accurately report what I was drinking if I like really had to, like right now on the spot. I don't think I could at all. The other thing, and somebody wrote in, our friend Noah, he was like, they also finally have money now. So now they're probably drinking even more because they can actually buy stuff. And like probably when they were younger, they were doing Borgs, they were doing stuff at college. Like there's a high chance also that just like individually they weren't buying these products and thinking about it. They were just doing it. Like we're Gen Z, right, Jenna?
Yeah.
Yeah, customers.
No, you're a cusp. I'm just Gen Z.
Oh God, you're so young. We're like the same age. But yeah, like I never noticed Gen Z not drinking. If anything, I've noticed Gen Z not drinking as much coffee, maybe more matcha. Like it never seemed like a thing to me.
The industry has loved this stat that Gen Z is drinking less. It came up so much. And I think we all thought that it was because of health and longevity culture, wellness culture, all booming. And also maybe because people were just not socializing in person as much anymore. And so they were like, okay, well, they must not be drinking. But I actually think that the reality is that any generation has pockets of drinkers and occasional drinkers and non-drinkers. The difference was that when a lot of these statistics started coming out saying that Gen Z was drinking less, it coincided pretty well with when there was a lot of innovation in non-alc. And I really think that non-alc innovation just enabled these occasional to non-drinkers to make better swaps. And so maybe where they might have, like, especially the occasional drinkers, might have reached for alcohol because it was there and there was nothing better, the innovation presented itself where there was a better option to swap for, and so they swapped. And now when we see things swinging back, interestingly, it's also timed with, there has been a lot more thoughtful, Gen Z-minded, I will say, innovation in alcohol.
Yes.
A lot of new brands have come out that are branded towards Gen Z, geared towards Gen Z, like flavor preferences and drinking habits. And now that those brands are available, they're bringing these occasional drinkers back to the category. So I don't think it was that the generation was all that different. I think it was that the innovation changed drinking behaviors.
And I think the other thing too is that people got fed up with malt-based beverages. And that was a lot of what was out there, ignoring like beers and wines and that kind of stuff. Like RTDs are the fastest growing category within alcohol right now. But a lot of those RTDs right now are formulated really well. They have actual alcohol in them. I just got a delivery of the new Jose Cuervo RTD margaritas, sparkling margaritas, which have triple sec and Jose Cuervo tequila in them. And they're delicious because they're not malt-based beverages. And that's why like Surfside and Long Drink, I think were doing so well is because they were booze and not malt based, and that's what people want.
There's so much more innovation in that space now. Like one of our favorite brands and friends, Goldilocks, is a great example.
We love Goldilocks.
Love Goldilocks. Canned cocktails, and they're geared towards Gen Z, and it's a Gen Z founder, and that makes a big difference.
Yeah, I think the other thing too with Goldilocks as a great example, it's less sugar, and it's got electrolytes. It's got better flavors. Like it has these things that younger consumers who are trying to eat better and consume better, but still like I'm still gonna have a drink, want. And I think a Goldilocks will do really well, and I think a lot of other brands will probably follow suit because, like, yes, Cutwater does very well, but a lot of people are realizing, one, there's a ton of booze in those, and two, there's a lot of sugar in those, and like and they don't show it off as much. So I think that like health-mindedness is also coming to those products as well, but also just from like hey, we're just using real and better ingredients, and like sometimes that's enough for a lot of people. If I'm going to indulge, whether it's alcohol or whether it's a sweet treat, I want it to be good and worth my time and worth my dollar. And that's what these new products are doing. And I think that's what a lot of these Gen Z consumers are starting to desire and realize.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. So I think that the stat was perhaps skewed by the innovation itself. And it's exciting to see, not that we're like promoting a bunch of Gen Z drinkers, but it is exciting to see Gen Z come back to the category, hopefully, which can be an indicator of more IRL socializing, hopefully, which can be an indicator of healthier drinking habits that are around some of these like lower sugar products that or have some other benefits or lower alcohol. And just excited to see the innovation is really what it is. We're at the end of the day, we're just nerdy about the innovation. And so I don't think it's true that Gen Z wasn't drinking, but here we are.
And look, the industry also loves to push their agenda.
Yeah.
Out there. I mean, the amount of conversations we have, and then we like look out in the market and we're like, I don't think that's
that doesn't actually, yeah, that's like a very insular conversation. I feel like a lot of the non-alc alternatives that we were really excited about, I still feel excited about a lot of them, and I think it's amazing to have those as an option, even for drinkers. Like a lot of the time, people just want
they're
option.
They're complementary, not replacing.
It was like way overhyped. It was way overhyped.
God, yeah.
Well,
let's go have a drink.
Yep, and on that
note, we're gonna have a drink. We are recording this after 4 p.m. It is fine. Don't worry, folks. Well, thank you everybody for listening to yet another episode of us yapping about CPG and retail stuff. If you haven't, please subscribe to our newsletter. You can go to expresscheckout.co. Follow us on Instagram at expresscheckout. Find us on LinkedIn. Google us. We're everywhere. So we will catch you next week. Bye.
Bye.